Well, I guess this officially marks the first episode of my podcast. It is called the Growth and Development Podcast. I don't know if this will be the vibe from now on. It's kind of just like a trial and error episode, a pilot, if you will. My name is Marco. I am currently 23. The date at this time is January 20th. It's 1:49 a.m. So it is pretty late. But I napped earlier in the day. I'm wide awake now. And I'm done procrastinating and doing this. I've been wanting to do some form of media like this for a very long time. And I've had people suggest to me and encourage that I do some sort of media where I just talk and yap, without them even knowing that I wanted to do a podcast. So that was pretty cool. Confirmation that, it's something that people, or at least friends or people that know me, would want to express interest in. This podcast, specifically, the Growth and Development Podcast, will be a place to, I guess, for me to organize my thoughts, and to maybe give reflection, introspection, a place where people can gather to maybe gain insight or articulate things in a way that makes sense to them in the way that I articulate them. It's funny because usually when I'm working on a passion project, I will take all the time that I need to make sure all my ducks are in a row, all loose ends are tied, because I like to present things very fleshed out. I have a lot of perfectionist tendencies. So I don't like to present something or put something out in the world if I don't feel like I won't have any second guesses or regrets afterwards. But for this specifically, I had the intention of this being very stripped back. I wanted it to feel personable. I wanted it to feel raw. Pause. I wanted it to feel like your friend called you at 3 a.m. to just express their thoughts. I wanted it to feel welcoming and homey, but at the same time, I also wanted it to feel very relaxed. I don't know if I'll always be relaxed, because I can be a relaxed person, but I can also be a not relaxed person. So we'll just see how the vibe shifts episode to episode, from minute to minute, I guess. I don't want to introduce too much about myself. I kind of just want my personality and character, my persona, to develop over time as listeners watch. Whether it's 1 of you, 2 of you, 10 of you, 100 of you. We'll see how it goes. Whoever this finds, though, I do hope that this offers you something. You benefit from it in some way. And if you do, I would love for you to tell me in the comments, so I know what I'm doing right or what I can improve on. I take criticism greatly, and I appreciate it. I do want this first episode to be about why I am not afraid to start over. Why I'm not afraid of starting from square one, or ground zero, I think it's called sometimes. I want you to imagine a post-apocalyptic world. Let's say the US went underwater, is now above sea level. There's only like 100 people in the entire country alive now. Let's say a lot of information is gone. Recorded, documented, written, tactile information is gone. Technology is gone. The only information you have are the few books that were left over from the ending of the world that you now have to dry out in the sun. All of the oral history and traditions that came from your community, your family, your friends, that you now exchange with the other people that now live alongside you on this barren country. Not all of that information will be good. Not necessarily. I'll put it this way. You could have a book such as the Quran or the Bible. You could have a dictionary, a thesaurus. You could have a book like The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. And you could also have books on how to perform hate crimes against people. Now, this doesn't mean that you'll use this book to your advantage, or you'll teach this to the youth in the land moving forward. But what it can mean is that this information can be the non-examples, the unexamples, the antithesis of what should be done. And I think that's where a lot of discernment comes in, and having a good head on your shoulders and just being in touch with yourself. All of this information, whether it could be used for good or bad, they can be seen as areas of improvement. They could be seen as what not to do. They can be seen as gaps that you know how to reverse engineer to get the good information out of it. I used this very extreme example to say, right at the turn of the new year, I got rid of a lot of things. Personal belongings, clothing, things that just piled up and accumulated in a random drawer or closet space. I cleared out a lot of my social media as well. Spiritually, I let go of a lot of expectations that I was unhealthily holding on to. Kind of like letting go and letting God type of thing. Letting my spiritual practice become more simple than what it used to be, because I do think at times you do have to get back to basics to remember what you're doing and why you're doing it. And then I did acquire some new things. You have to let go of old energy, accept a new energy to keep moving forward. Well, that's for another episode, but I am very optimistic about this year. I don't want to give too much away about my plans or expectations. I know for the next month or so it's going to be a bit slow for me, which I don't mind. I don't mind slow new beginnings. I may be misquoting things, but I'm pretty sure there is a quote. I don't know if it's biblical or just religious, but it's something like, I don't fear slow or small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices for the work to begin. And I've lived by that quote ever since I first found it. I'm not the most religious person. I was raised religious. I'm more spiritual nowadays. But I think there's truth and beauty in that quote. I don't fear starting over. I don't think I'm starting over in every aspect of life. But energetically, appearance-wise, mindset-wise, I do think I hit the reset button not too long ago. And I talk to my friends about it a lot. And, well, one, I'm very grateful for my friends, and I could start crying talking about them because I love them so much. But sticking to the topic, I have a lot of plans and goals, passions, interests that I am stating now, this time next year. A lot of them, if not accomplished, my foot will be in the doors of those that I need to step through to start accomplishing those things. And it's because I'm so eager, so excited to get these things done. Not only because these goals have to do with my self-expression and fulfillment, but for my community and for the greater good of humanity as well. And I know that sounds so dramatic, but it's true. I do care a lot about people and humanity and the country and the world. I'm in the US, by the way, if you could not tell. So yeah, a lot of my goals do double as things for me and my creative expression and my fulfillment. But for those of others as well. And I do tend to lose my train of thought. So I hope you guys don't mind that. I hope you guys are on the same wavelength as me, that you could follow me with whatever I spew, whatever I yap about. But what I'm trying to say is, I don't mind starting over, because I'll use another example. I study and read tarot professionally. And there is a card called the Tower card. And one of the teachings with this card is that if the foundation of a tower is not founded on the divine or of God or of just pure intention, that tower will crumble and fall. Now, if you're inside that tower when that happens, you can choose to fall or you can choose to fly. And they do look pretty similar when they're happening at the same time, but it's up to you to decide what your approach is when that happens. I think within the past year, maybe year and a half, maybe 2 years, I've experienced a very slow tower moment. And that's not to say that I set up my own foundations that weren't rooted in love or positive intention. But what it does mean is that often society and the world or family or community or even yourself, what you're conditioned to believe, can create these false foundations. But the cool thing about it is that when the lightning strikes the tower and then it catches fire, that lightning and fire was orchestrated by God or the universe, whatever terms you want to use. I'm flexible. I can accommodate. And it's a purifying flame. It may not be fun. It may not be the most enjoyable, pleasurable, satisfying experience. But what it does mean at the end is that the groundwork won't necessarily be laid for you, but it will be purified for you to start over with what you know or what you learn to be good information or good intention. And I used to be afraid of having to start from scratch. I used to hold on to creative projects. I mean, that's normal. People have portfolios. They have notes apps. They have journals full of things. But for me, it was out of fear that I would not be able to create something again. I didn't realize how abundant, creative, intelligent, that I was. And I've learned to stop operating from a lack mindset. I am abundant. I am not one thing. I am everything. I'm also everyone. Now, if that's too transcendental for you, I understand. I'll try to not talk that vague at times, but it will happen. Fair warning. I am becoming comfortable, so comfortable with myself, in fact, that I am getting a real kick out of just talking to this microphone and to my photo booth app on my computer. And I love rationalizing my thoughts and seeing what happens when I don't have a plan. A lot of times you don't need a plan for certain things, good things to happen. The universe makes those things happen for you when it knows that you're ready. Or you need to be careful with the thoughts that you have. I'm going on a tangent here, but I'll keep going. I'll finish this thought. Your mind is a radio, and whatever thoughts you emit, the universe is only going to honor that. So if you're honoring worry and negativity, disease, the universe is only going to materialize that for you. But if you emit frequencies, thoughts, transmissions, that you're abundant, that you're beautiful, that you're constantly growing, constantly developing, constantly getting more beautiful, getting more abundant, getting more prosperous, getting more creative, getting more magnetic, the universe will respond to that and make sure that that happens. The universe isn't necessarily fair to our human comprehension, but it does maintain balance. As crazy as the world seems right now. Maybe that was tone deaf or insensitive. I guess I'll find out. I'll learn my lesson later about that. But if any of this resonated, let me know. If you've had similar thoughts, let me know. Or if you would like me to talk about anything specific, let me know. I don't know the time frame for future episodes will be, as far as like the actual duration of the podcast episodes. I'm going on about 18 minutes now. I think it's a good time to stop. But I do feel very happy that I started this. I'm looking forward to doing it more often. I hope you guys enjoyed the more stripped back, minimal approach to this. Maybe it's calming. Hope you've had a chance to drink water or eat something to fuel your body today. Hope you've been patient with yourself. Hope you've rewarded yourself today. And if not, make that a goal. But yeah, get your rest. Be productive as much as you can. And count your blessings. All right, you guys. Blessings and peace.